Welcome back, viewers at home. You're still tuned in right here on Prime Live, and I'm joined by guests who believe in nurturing the mind, body, and spirit to achieve overall well-being, as well as with a mission that is to provide a tranquil sanctuary where individuals can embark on their journey to holistic health and self-discovery. I am joined by the directors of Sanctuary in the City, Damini, Reddi, and Sanam, Naran. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thank you for having us.
Now, just getting started on understanding what the sanctuary offers, can you tell us a bit in terms of what birthed the idea and the establishment of sanctuary in the city?
So, to be honest, Sanam and I have a long-standing relationship, and I don't know if she knows this, but I really just appreciate her, and I see her as somebody that helped me and supported me in qualifying. So we did our master's year together. I mean, our internship year together.
Oh, okay.
And she really supported me through that year. And moving forward from that, I really made it my aim to just support her, reach out. She started her own psychology practice, and eventually she onboarded me as one of her psychologists. From there, we got to speaking, and we're talking about spaces that provide healing. And what we found is we wanted a space that we could call our own, that would provide everybody just a sanctuary, a peaceful space where they could come and heal on all those levels, mind, body, and soul. We found that as psychologists, we can only assist and help people in their healing journey to an extent before we need help, and we need to incorporate other people and other knowledge as well.
How do you feel hearing this, Sanam?
I mean, it feels amazing. I think, Damini and I do go a long way back, and we've worked really hard to get to where we are. And I think something that Damini and I really share is this care for our community, and, just really wanting holistic health, and putting an importance on mental health through our own, past experiences and lived experiences. So yeah, it feels really nice to hear that.
And just speaking on holistic and seeing what it actually also embodies in that sense, can you tell me a bit on some of the services and programs that are offered by Sanctuary in the city?
So we have multiple health practitioners within Sanctuary in the city. We have a psychology practice with 8 psychologists.
Okay.
We've got an anesthetist who does IV infusions, iron infusions, ketamine treatment. We have a homeopath. We've got a music therapist. And we have connections with a physiotherapist and a craniosacral therapist as well. So we do have different practitioners on the premises to create sort of a multidisciplinary type of setting.
And Dominique, what advice would you share with someone who is trying to sort of integrate a very holistic wellness and it wants to embark on the journey, but you just never know where to start, especially if you've never went to see a psychologist. You just never know what exactly you need, and from time you see that, okay, you go to a psychologist and then the psychologist is now referring you to someone else. You feel like abandoned. Can you tell me in terms of what advice you would share with that person, and how would you best help us understand the need for all these players that exist within Sanctuary in the city?
I think it's a very common experience for people to feel a bit overwhelmed when you enter therapy and you're being told by your therapist, look, there's other things at play here. And I think that was the main, thing we wanted to focus on in our wellness center, is have access to different professionals that can help you understand better what might be going on for you. So the advice that I would give somebody who's struggling, look, you might find yourself having the flu or feeling a bit run down. You go to the GP and the GP says, you're going through stress. What is stress? Stress is an experience. It's an experience in the body. It's an experience in the mind. It's also how in tune you are with who you are and what capacity you have to manage that stress. So my advice is be open to the feedback, be open to sitting in spaces and doing the work so that you feel contained and that you feel like you have a way forward.
Now, I have a question for the both of you because I know that with communities and social media, there is a lot of self diagnosing, and me with no degree in health, and be like, you know what, Sanam, I think you're having a bit of traumas and triggers, and that's the culture that is now, like, trending. And in that sense, I want to find out from you, what is the role of, society, or rather community and social media in the advocacy in terms of promoting health and, and wellness at that?
So I think social media plays a huge role in this. I think all the information that we get, it doesn't matter which generation. I mean, we pick it up from social media.
Yeah.
That's our main source of information nowadays. So I think that's so important. And one of the partnerships we have is with the World Health Organization.
Oh, wow.
And what we do is we create videos around mental health and health that are based off of real research. So, we're not putting misinformation out there, because there is a lot of misinformation
Yes.
on social media. And like you said, people diagnosing themselves with various types of disorders. So something that we're also passionate about is real research-based knowledge. And the other thing, when it comes to community, I think that's also something we're so passionate about. So we've done some school projects where we have career days in different schools, and we just educate children on what is psychology and what kind of careers they can get into. And I think, community is really important. It's one of the biggest contributors to good mental health. So we really like to advocate for that.
And for you, Damini?
I'd like to just add to what Sanam said, and I wanted to say that a big part of community also starts at home, in-house. So Sanam and I engage in discussions around, how do we build and maintain a sense of community first within the wellness center, and then kind of prioritize what's happening outside as well.
Yeah.
So, a sense of community is felt, and it starts at home.
And for someone who's just wondering, because I liked how in the first conversation, you said that, sometimes you find that as a psychologist, you need to then, refer someone to a different space because there's something else that's at play. Now, I want to find out, in terms of promoting health and wellness, what role does, these community events and partnership mean, not only for sanctuary in the city, but just for this idea of holistic healing and holistic well-being?
It plays a huge role. I think, like I said, I think, community is such a huge contributor to good, not only mental health, but physical health. There's a new statistic that actually came out that loneliness can cause heart problems as well as stroke. So it just shows the connection between mind, body, as well as spirit, and that's something that we hold highly at Sanctuary in the City.
Yeah, sure. You may.
Just to add to that is just also think about productivity in our communities. Think about, how we have to show up and play a role in terms of the economy, in terms of meeting our obligations and responsibilities towards our family. And I think what gets overlooked is the importance of being well on a mind, body, and spirit level, and how that actually eases your way and makes it a little less challenging to meet those responsibilities. So that is why the focus is on healing, so that we can get those other dreams, those other desires going and realize them.
Now, Sana, my question to you now is, what sets Sanctuary in the City apart from what is out there?
So I think, like I mentioned earlier, I think we have a real deep care for people.
Yeah.
And that's not to say other wellness centers don't, but
yeah.
I think, it's in the little things that we have at Sanctuary in the City where it feels like home. And apart from that, I think Damini and I, we have lived experiences that have made us want to become psychologists to help other people. So I think it's us being able to put ourselves in other people's shoes, and really empathize with what people are going through. Yeah.
And speaking on people, now you meet different people from different walks of life, and we could all go through the same thing, but coming out of it doesn't take the same process. And I think this brings me to ask in terms of what are some of the processes or approaches that you use to tailor make, if you tailor make, or what's the word they use, I don't know, I'm not sure, but I'm just going to play with tailor make in terms of making sure whatever you provide or whatever program you assign the person to best suits their needs. And coming to what Sanam shared in terms of personal experience, how much of that plays a role in approaching that situation or just assigning that program. And I think I'll start with you, Damini.
Okay, I think for me, the way I think about that is it's the client first, right? So I'm here to facilitate a trust in the client and what they are experiencing in themselves. So if a client has approached me first before seeing a doctor, my first point of call is, how are you trusting what you're experiencing? What is your level of trust within self, and what are you open to exploring in terms of your healing? I think in our space, consent and being informed is so important. And in part of healing and growing, our clients need to have the agency. So they need to take control as much as possible of their own process, right? And so we want to cultivate a space where they feel that they can.
Sanam?
I think also, being in South Africa, we have a variety of people coming from different backgrounds, religions, cultures, and I think we place a lot of importance at Sanctuary in the City on culture. And I think that that's really, really important, because in that way we're able to foster and create a treatment plan for a specific individual based on their unique needs, based on their unique upbringing. And I think that that's also something else that sets us apart.
I'm loving the fact that you don't just say, okay, come in, these are your issues, there's a program, let's move. I love how you allow them to also be cognizant to say, you're about to enter a process. Are you open to this? Are you actually mindful to what you're doing and aware of what you're about to go through? But with that being said, what message or call to action do you want to leave our listeners with in terms of encouraging them to prioritize, their well-being and health, and also not forgetting, where is Sanctuary in the City located? And I think I'll start with you, Damini.
I think, the message that I'd like viewers just to take away from today is becoming conscious and healing really takes an investment into yourself. So we're so quick, I think, in this day and age to invest in Facebook or the next big thing, AI. How can we invest our money into? And I think that's the biggest thing we see with our clients is there's this inner conflict about what kind of healing can I prioritize, what fits into my budget, can I? And a lot of the time, I think when people really sit down and they look at their resources, they'll find that they're pumping resources into things outside of them, not recognizing that they are the vehicle. They themselves are what needs to be sustainable, to meet those obligations, to live the big dreams. So invest in yourself and look at self-care, healing, going to therapy, taking on the treatment as an investment in yourself that you will benefit from, and people around you, your community, will benefit from as well.
Amazing. Sana?
I think Damini summed it up really well.
Amazingly.
But I'll end off by saying we're located in Rosebank, Johannesburg. But a lot of our practitioners are available online as well. So we have clients from all over South Africa and some international as well.
Amazing. Ladies, just thank you so much for joining me this evening and really sharing in what holistic healing looks like. And it's not, I mean, you highlighted something so important to say we're so quick in investing in external things, but all things intrinsic, it's an afterthought. And I think we tend to touch on that when literally you can't even,
The house is on fire.
you know what I mean? You can't even lift that sheet. I was listening to someone going through about their journey, and they're like, I was struggling to lift the sheet, like something so light. But thank you so much for truly sharing with us what holistic healing means and what Sanctuary in the City is offering for viewers out there.
Thank you again for having us here.
Viewers at home, that was my amazing guest sharing in on all things healing. That it's high time we start investing in ourselves, because after all, there is no other you. And that was Damini Reddi and Sanam Naran, who are the directors of Sanctuary in the City. As you heard from Sanam, it is located in Rosebank. Make sure that you do pay them a visit. Who knows, it could be life changing. But for now, let's head over to an ad break. We'll see you just after this.